We were work colleagues, and then shortly after that, engaged in a relationship. I gave him 2 credit cards.
Did you explain to me that this is
Hey,
a law?
Mr.
It was retaliation to the breakup.
He has agreed to pay and will not pay.
The bottom line is there was no agreement,
All right,
sir.
so we've got Ms. Mitchell versus Palmer, and we've got Attorney Thomas here on behalf of Ms.
Mitchell.
So this one's messy. Two school administrators who used to be lovers followed their boss from Illinois to Georgia for what looked like a big career move. But now, that same boss has been indicted on federal charges for kickbacks and fraud. And these two? They're in court, suing each other over $14,000 in credit card debt. They both got promotions and pay raises when they moved, yet somehow claimed they were financially strained. She says he left her holding the bag. He says, it wasn't a loan, it was love. And with their old boss facing federal charges, you have to wonder, was anyone in this circle ever telling the truth?
Ms. Thomas, you can make a brief opening statement, and then Mr. Palmer, if you'd like to make an opening statement, you can.
Yes, I would like to. So, Your Honor, I'm here, as you know, on position 2, Markeisha Mitchell versus Elijah Palmer, case number 24M13663. Your Honor, I represent Ms. Mitchell, and Ms. Mitchell is suing the defendant for $13,970.31. Our position is that they moved down here. They were friends and co-workers. Mr. Palmer faced some financial difficulties, and Ms. Mitchell agreed to give him, to help him out, to give him a loan. And those 2 loans were in the form of 2 credit cards. So she had an American Express card herself. She had her own number. The credit card, American Express, allowed her to get an additional credit card, American Express credit card with another number. That credit card she gave to Mr. Palmer, and it was in his name, but it was on Miss Mitchell's credit. She also did the same thing with a Chase card. Although, the Chase card was in her name, she never used it. She said, in emergencies, when you need money, here you can use that. And he was the exclusive user of the Chase credit card. He started to pay fine, and then he all of a sudden stopped paying, and that is what we are suing for. That's the result of $13,970.31 worth of purchases that he made on those 2 credit cards. And we went to the back to discuss it. There was no resolution.
I don't need to know how that, I mean, you all are here because there was no resolution. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Mr. Palmer, what is your case? What are you going to show me today? I'm not asking for testimony. Just tell me what I should be looking out for.
You should be looking out for an agreement that was supposedly made on these credit cards that up front. You should be looking out for things that I purchased or that we purchased together because we were in a relationship. We were a couple. So you should also be looking for screenshots of statements that were shared with me. I eventually got invoices where I can see the itemized purchases, but you should know that these are things that both of us spent. So I believe she's sharing documents from these 2 cards, and there were things that were purchased on my cards that we're not here for today. But as far as since you said I can't give a testimony, then I'll just end with that.
Okay. All right. Ms. Thomas, you can call your first witness.
Okay, Your Honor, my first witness is going to be Miss Markeisha Mitchell. Ms. Mitchell, you've already been sworn in. Can you state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Yes, Markeisha Mitchell, and then Mitchell.
Thank you. Where do you currently live?
Shorewood, Illinois.
Okay. And how long have you lived there? How long have you been there?
I have been here since July of 2024.
Did you ever reside in DeKalb County?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you please tell me, the years that you resided there?
Yes, I moved to DeKalb County, Georgia, specifically Tucker, in July of 2023, and
Mhm.
then moved from Tucker, Georgia to Shorewood, Illinois in July of 2024.
Okay. What brought you down to DeKalb?
I was working for a superintendent in the Chicagoland area, and he secured a superintendency for the DeKalb County School District and invited me to move to DeKalb County and obtain a position at his cabinet level. And so I packed up and I moved down there for the job opportunity.
Okay. Do you know Elijah Palmer?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Can you please describe in what capacity do you know Mr. Palmer?
Mr. Palmer and I met in July of, around July of 2021. No, 2022, I'm sorry, when I accepted a position in Evanston-Skokie School District right outside of Chicago. He was already employed there. I was hired. We were on similar committees and worked together fairly closely. And so we were work colleagues, and then shortly after that, engaged in a relationship.
Okay. Uh, so you knew him, y'all were in a relationship and you were also co-workers.
Correct.
Okay. So was there ever time, so were you both down here in DeKalb County?
Yes, when the superintendent of Evanston-Skokie received an opportunity to move to DeKalb County School District, there were a number of us who he invited to transition with him, and Mr. Palmer was one of them.
Okay. So was there ever a time when y'all moved down here to DeKalb that he voiced or that he had financial difficulty?
Yes, initially we were told that our salaries would be one number. However, due to issues within the district, our salaries were not that when we first moved here. And so both he and I had differences, lower salaries, I'll say, when we initially
Okay.
moved here.
Okay. So did you recognize that he was having financial difficulties?
Yes, we talked openly about our finances and our salaries and disappointment and not getting the money that we thought we were going to get when we moved down here. And he certainly expressed concerns about his and his ability to maintain his bills and the move and furniture and all of those other expenditures.
Okay. So at any time did you loan Mr. Palmer money?
Yes. Again, we were in a relationship and we had talked about long term, potentially engagement, marriage, and all of those things. So I felt very comfortable offering assistance to him in that time of need. And the way that I did that was through adding him as a user on our American Express credit card where he had his own account, and then offering him access to a Chase credit card that had a zero balance at the time so that he could fill in the gaps in his financial needs.
Okay. So you loaned him two cards.
I gave
Is that
him
what you?
two credit cards. Yes.
Okay. Did any of the cards have his name on them?
Yes, they did. So American Express sent his own card with his own name and his own account number. And I believe Chase had his name on it as well.
Okay. So was it attached to your credit or was it his credit? Was it on his credit?
So both of these were attached to my credit only.
Okay. So did y'all discuss the terms of those credit card loans? Did y'all discuss the terms or was it a gift? Was it just a gift?
The access to the cards and the money that he would end up spending was not a gift. It was a attempt on my behalf to assist him until his salary was adjusted and he had completed his degree and got the money that he was promised to get.
So were there terms to the loan?
Yes. So after he completed his degree and his payroll was adjusted with DeKalb County, we exchanged text messages and had in-person conversations about the due dates for the cards.
Okay. So now, was that common practice for y'all to engage in text messaging regarding the loans, regarding the credit cards?
Yes, we texted often, right? About personal matters, about the bills, the credit cards. We emailed as well.
Okay. Did you make a record of those texts?
Yes, I did. I screenshotted those and printed those and submitted them to the court.
And okay, you did submit them to the court.
Mhm.
Were those texts, you created those texts right then when y'all were talking about the loans, right then at that time?
It's a history, right? So the text messages and the emails extend over a long period of time, but there certainly were text messages where we discussed, I'm ordering the card. It'll be here. Is that good? Yes, of course. Thank you so much for ordering it. So there's documentation on text about that.
So did Mr. Palmer know the plan? Did he know that you were going to give him the credit card so that he could get himself together financially?
Yes, he did. And even in the text messages, you can see he expressed his appreciation for me giving him the cards to help him out. And he was aware that this was not a gift, that this was something that needed to be repaid. And I think you'll get to this later. He demonstrated his understanding of the repayment by actually repaying for a period of time.
Okay. Okay. So describe the cards, please, for the court. Were the payments, did those credit cards have due dates?
Yes, it was a traditional credit card. There was interest accrued. There were due dates. There was a rolling balance. So yes.
Okay. So did he ever use those cards?
He did. He used them both often.
Okay. So did you collect emails regarding your conversations and your communications regarding the two credit cards?
Yes, ma'am, I did. There's text messages and there's emails. I made a point to send him statements because he would certainly request to review the statements, and that was fine. So I would email him statements and I would screenshot him the due date information directly from each credit card application. So I sent text and emails.
And do you think those texts and the emails fairly represent the communications and the terms of the loan?
The communication that occurred outside of text and email, obviously that's not documented, but there were a lot of in-person conversations. But I do agree that the text and emails are a good representation of what we discussed and agreed on.
Okay, so are they accurate? The texts
They are very
were
accurate. Yes.
Okay. And do you have a collection of the text? Do you have a copy of those?
Yes.
Okay. Did you provide the court with a copy of the text messages?
Yes. I
Your Honor,
uploaded it into the e-file, I believe it's called.
Your Honor, I've tried to put on my screen share, but it says the host has not allowed me. It says the host isn't allowing sharing at this time.
She'll allow you if you've got it on your screen. Miss Willis, will you give Miss Thomas?
She has it, Judge.
Okay.
Okay, let's see. Okay. Share. Okay, so we have exhibit number 2. What? So that's exhibit number 2. Did you provide a copy of that to the clerk's office?
I uploaded it to e-file, so I hope that that suffices as providing it to the clerk.
Yes. And does this accurately, what is this? What is this that is exhibit number 2?
Can you scroll it up just a little bit?
Yes.
But what that looks like is a screenshot from American Express saying you can create your online account today. He says, oh, the other way, sorry. Or which one do you want me to address? I apologize. Okay.
We're looking at exhibit 2.
Okay, so that was a screenshot letting him know that the card will be here. It says October 11th. He says, hey, babe, let's go. I said, I'm adding you to the account. Is that okay? He's like, yes, babe, thank you so much. And of course, there were conversations outside of this text about him being added to the credit card too.
Okay. And so that's reflected in exhibit 2. So exhibit 3. Do you recognize that?
I do.
Okay, so what is that?
That is just confirming the credit card, the Delta Sky Miles American Express card.
Okay. And so you're texting that. Who are you texting that to?
So that is to Elijah, Mr. Palmer.
Okay.
So,
Do you know
Ms.
the
Thomas,
date?
Ms. Thomas, I'm going to ask you, some of this is pretty obvious. So I would tell you to get to the agreement. That's the issue. So go to whatever any evidence you have on the agreement.
Okay. Okay. So the next thing that I wanted to ask you is was it routine? Did you two discuss an agreement as regarding whether it was a loan or a gift?
Yes, yes, we did.
Okay. And what did y'all come up with? What was the result of the communication?
That once his money, his salary was adjusted by the school district, which was going to be in a couple months, that he would start paying on the card, and he did so. After he completed his degree and his salary was adjusted, he began making payments.
Okay.
And on one card, he actually started before I think his degree was conferred.
Okay. So what is exhibit number 4?
So that
you can rotate your page if you click the rotation button up top.
Okay.
No, down. It's at the very end, down that row, all the way down to the right. It's the second to last button. Oh, go
it's
back
next to where it says 446 is right next to that.
Yeah, I think that there's something over it. My the Zoom, the pictures.
Oh.
This is what's the title of this exhibit?
I titled
Mitchell?
this American Express spreadsheet tracker.
Okay, so what is it tracking?
So American Express, like any other credit card, gives you access to your account where you can see your expenditures, your balance, all of that. I use the app to track my expenditures and make payments. There are text messages within the documents that show that he also tried to set up this access to the app, but he has some technical difficulties, so he wasn't able to use the app to monitor his purchases and make payments. So there's also evidence in the documents where I said, hey, since you can't figure out how to get access to the app so you can monitor your own expenditures and make payments. I am offering to create a spreadsheet. So in the documents, you'll see an email I sent to him. He said, great, that sounds good. Thank you for creating that. And so this was a shared Google form that we used to monitor his payments, the interest, and the balance. And what you just put on the screen just shows that he did have access. Well, the other page did.
Yeah, I don't know. I see the other page. So that would be Exhibit 5. Exhibit 5. So did Mr. Palmer have access to the tracker, the American Express tracker?
Yes, he did.
And is there evidence that he made payments?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, what about with the Chase credit card? Now, were there payments made on the Chase credit card by Mr. Palmer?
Yes, so the exhibit you have on the screen captures all of his payments. It's in reverse chronological order. So what you see at the top is the very last payment that he made on February 25th in the amount of $295. And you can see under the status column where he indicated what it was for: Chase credit card, Chase card, etc.
Okay, so you were aware that he was making payments, and that's what y'all had discussed per your agreement.
Yes, so he honored the agreement for however months is captured on here by making the monthly payments on the credit card.
Okay. Okay, now let me ask this. How did he make those payments? How did he make the payments to American Express? And then how did he make them to Chase?
So he would use Zelle. So he would Zelle me the payment and then I would apply it. There were 2 instances where I guess he did get access to the American Express app, maybe one, and he did make a payment himself, but the rest of the time he sent the money to me.
Okay. Okay. So moving down. And is in exhibit 6, would you say that is an accurate representation of the bill and the payments?
Yes, that captures all the payments that he made for the Chase card.
Okay. Okay. And let's get that.
Oh, that was an email that I sent him with a statement. Okay.
Yeah, go on.
You passed it, a page or so up.
Okay.
It was just an email that I sent to him, and I'm sharing that because Mr. Palmer alleges that I never sent him statements for the credit card. And so I attached this as evidence that I did email him on a regular basis statements for the credit card. But it's a little bit up, Attorney Thomas, if you wanted to highlight it.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes, so Exhibit 7, which is right before this page you're showing, and this one is another example of me sharing the credit card statements with him.
okay. So exhibit 10, can you tell us what this 10 is?
Yes, so this is a text I sent to him saying, just to confirm, the first paragraph and the second paragraph are irrelevant. The third paragraph, I said, you can pay your own American Express bill via the app. For the Chase card, you can send me the monthly payment via Zelle. I'll send you the card statement monthly. Let me know if this is correct. And he responded first, addressing the first 2 paragraphs, saying he would get insurance and all of that. And he said, other than that, it's fine. So he's further agreeing to what we stipulated.
Okay. So, and is that an accurate understanding, representation of what your communications were at the time?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So would you say that there was always an expectation that he would pay those two credit card bills because they were his?
Correct.
Okay. And did you tell Mr. Palmer, or was Mr. Palmer told of the due dates?
Yes, there is documentation in here as well where I confirm the due dates with him.
Okay. So when did Mr. Palmer stop paying?
So back on Exhibit 6, he made his last payment to the Chase card on February 25th, 2025. And back on Exhibit 4, he made his last payment to American Express December 3rd of 2024.
Okay. So let me ask you this. So when he stopped paying, did the bill get paid, or how did that work? What happened when he stopped paying?
So to protect the integrity of my credit, because these were in my name, I continue to make the minimum monthly payment. And it's important to note that, as we all know, the interest continued to accrue on these cards. So the balance that he left when he made his last payment was no longer the balance, right? Because of the interest. So I continue to make monthly payments, and I still do to this day to protect my credit.
Okay. So how much would you say, how much is owed? How much was owed on the Chase card and also on the American Express?
So let me. So on Exhibit 4, in September, the balance for him on American Express was $5,508.38. And on the Chase card, it is $9,870.
Okay. Is that what you're asking the court for him to pay at this time?
I am, yes.
Okay. Now, did Mr. Palmer know that he owed this money?
Yes, so there are text messages in here where we talk about what he owed, the interest. There's emails in here. And when I say in here, I'm referring to the submitted document.
Yes.
Where I kind of explained to him how the interest works, because there's multiple times where he refuted the accumulation of interest on the card. And I don't know if that was from a lack of understanding, but I tried to explain to him that a 29.9% interest rate is it is calculated monthly, and it can be substantial depending on the balance of the card. So yes, it's the short answer.
Anytime did y'all ever agree that those credit cards, the use of the credit cards and the payments made on the credit cards were gifts? At any time did y'all discuss it being a gift?
We never agreed that his expenditures on each of those credit cards was a gift.
Was it ever even discussed?
No, he never asked me if he could not pay me back. So no, we agreed that that was the expectation.
Okay, so just to reiterate, he got the credit cards a little bit before he started, a little bit before.
You don't have to reiterate, Ms. Thomas. We don't have to go over it a second time.
Just to make sure you understood, Your Honor.
I got it.
Okay. So one last question. Okay. I think that's it for now, Your Honor. We may have redirect, but We're done.
Okay, you
Right.
can stop sharing your screen. You can just hit stop share. Or Miss Willis, if you can pull it back. Thank you. All right. Mr. Palmer, do you have any questions for Miss Mitchell?
Questions? I'm not sure,
All
but I
right.
have rebuttals to what was just
We'll-
discussed, which was a
we'll
whole
get-
lot.
Yeah,
Okay.
I understand. We'll get to it.
Okay.
But the first part is, do you have any questions for her? If you don't have any questions, Ms.
Yeah.
Thomas, do you have any other evidence to
Yeah.
present?
I do. I'm sorry, I do have a question. What
Okay,
was the purpose of you showing the evidence of the contract that we created for the vehicle, the 1,000 a month, that the only contract that was actually discussed today, the only agreement? What was the purpose of that? What's the relevance to that for today?
If you recall,
Are
when
you-
she called my attention.
hold
to
on,
that
hang on.
particular-
Ms. Thomas, do you look like you wanted to ask something?
No, I thought that he was asking me that question.
Oh,
He's asking Miss Mitchell.
Mhm.
okay.
No, there's
You can
nothing I
go-
want to
You
ask.
can go ahead and answer, Miss Mitchell.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Mr. Palmer, if you recall, when she directed my attention to that particular document, I stated the first two paragraphs are irrelevant, and we focused on the third paragraph.
Got you. Okay.
Okay.
Understand.
Anything else, Mr. Palmer?
Yes. So once again, at what time did we discuss that there was an agreement when you issued me the cards? At what did you send me something in writing? Did you send me an email? At what time did you issue that? Hey, did you explain to me that this is
Hey,
a loan?
Mr. Palmer, Mr. Palmer, slow down. Okay, here's the thing. The reason I stopped you is you've probably already, you're asking a question, but you've got like 5 facts in there. I tell you to make it a shorter question so I can know what she's actually answering yes or no to. Okay,
Understood, sir. Yes. At what point did you issue me a statement that this is a loan? The 2 cards.
that
the two
right
cards.
there. That's one question. At what point did you say this was a loan? Okay, let her answer that first, and then you can ask more.
I was just providing clarity.
You're on mute, Miss Mitchell.
I understood your question, Mr. Palmer. When we talked about your financial straits when we moved to Georgia, and you shared with me your struggle based on the salary not being what it was expected to be, I told you that I would loan you those cards for use for emergencies or whatever you needed to use the cards for. And when your salary was adjusted, you would pay back, which is what you actually did. That's when you started paying back the cards.
Why did these discussions start to happen after we broke up from our relationship?
So these discussions occurred over the course of our relationship. Our relationship ended in April. You actually started making payments on both cards before we ended our relationship. You may want to check your records for Zelle to see when you started sending me money, but it was before we ended our relationship in April.
Okay, no more questions, Your Honor.
All right. Any redirect, Miss Thomas?
Yes. So the text messages, are a fair and accurate representation of the agreement that you two had as to repayment of the loans. Were they accurate and representative of the agreement, Miss Mitchell?
Yes.
Miss Mitchell, can y'all hear me?
Yes, I didn't know if that was for me or him, but yes.
That's for you. You're on redirect now. Okay. So, and you've reviewed all of the exhibits, have you
Yes.
not?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And they all are a representation of the amount of money that is owed on those 2 credit cards?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, I would ask that the exhibit 1 through 49 be admitted as evidence in this case.
All right, Mr. Palmer, did you have any objection to the exhibits that were displayed?
Yes, there were a lot of exhibits displayed, but the exhibits where there were invoices or a breakdown of things that I spent, yes, I would
What's the objection?
that they not be used as
I know you don't want them to be used, but tell me what your legal basis is for me not to consider them.
there's no evidence that they were purchases through me.
Okay,
There's no
that'll
evidence.
be the weight of the evidence. I'm going to admit the exhibits over your objection. Okay. All right. Anything else?
No, not at this time, Your Honor, just argument.
Okay, well, we'll get there eventually. Mr. Palmer gets to present his side. So, Mr. Palmer, well, let me ask before we go to Mr. Palmer's side, the 2 amounts that you testified to, Ms. Mitchell, the $9,870 and the $5,508.38. When I add those up, they exceed the limit of this court, and they exceed what Ms. Thomas said in opening statements. So,
Your Honor,
yes, go ahead.
after I submitted all those documents and I uploaded them, that was early September. Additional payments were required for September. And I think I just made an October payment on the cards. So on my end, I included that. But if the court doesn't allow that, because I know there's a $15,000 limit, I am okay with that. I just want to recoup as much of my money as possible.
Okay. Now, based on the question I just asked, did you have any questions, Ms. Thomas, of Ms. Mitchell?
No, I don't.
Okay. Mr. Palmer, did you have any questions based on what I just asked?
No, I don't.
Okay. In that case, Mr. Palmer, it's your turn to tell me everything you want me to know from your side.
Absolutely. Okay, so I sat through questions that were asked and answered. And I think the question you asked is, where is the agreement or the contract? It was never displayed because there was no agreement or contract. Markeisha and I were in a relationship. I moved from Chicago to Georgia. I also accompanied our superintendent, who was the superintendent of Evanston Skokie in Evanston, to take a job, a district level job, and then eventually that I was going to transition into a cabinet level position. Markeisha and I were in a relationship. We talked about in the beginning, both of us were struggling financially coming here. I'm saying here, moving to Georgia. But we always talked about, hey, listen, we're in this together. We're helping each other out. Her credit was better than mine. So I couldn't get approved for a credit card, but I never asked her. She when she came and she stated that, hey, listen, I see you struggling. I'm going to add you to my credit. One, it's going to build your credit. So you're going to be a rider on my credit, so we can help boost your credit. So now you can get approved for credit. That was the agreement. The evidence that she showed of me paying statements that's me being a man saying that, hey, this woman looked out for me for funds that was accumulated on the credit card by both of us. So I respected her. I loved her, obviously. So I didn't want to have her out here by herself. So yes, I was honoring the commitment. I asked about the vehicle contract because I paid $4,000 more than what the blue value stated, because I wanted to make up for how she looked out for me. So
I don't know, Mr. Palmer, I don't know what you're talking about. Vehicle contract,
yes,
I don't
yeah, she
see no
displayed.
evidence
Oh,
about.
all right, okay. So
You paid a
I guess
car
I can't.
dealer? Did you buy it from CarMax? I don't know what you're talking about.
I paid Markeisha Mitchell $7,000 for an Infiniti QX16 that was hers. The blue book value was $3,000. So I paid her $4,000 more than that because I knew that I knew that there were statements on the credit cards that were accumulated by both of us. And since we were in a relationship, I wanted to take some of that debt. Everything I did was based on my relationship with her, and I didn't want to just leave her with all of this debt that we accumulated. She showed me statements on a card. Only thing I saw was a screenshot of the dollar value. I always asked her, listen, I can't see a breakdown of these cards. I'm not the only one who have access to this Chase card. I never received a bill to my home. I've never received a bill on an online statement. She told me that I was being added as a rider so that I can increase my credit. So when she showed proof that I was paying consistently, that is correct because I didn't want her to leave her with all of the debt that both of us accumulated. And the evidence that she showed today is what the two of us accumulated. She lived at my I'm sorry, she spent multiple nights a week at my place where I accumulated bills on my personal cards that I purchased for both of us.
So, Mr.
If you look
Palmer,
at
Mr. Palmer,
yes, yes.
let's get to some evidence. I mean, I hear your testimony and you're summarizing, but if you have evidence that they're joint purchases and you don't owe her $15,000, show it to me.
I mean, I explained that I never received any statements. I'm asking for her to show me the evidence that these were my purchases. So I'm contesting it, saying that those were not my purchases alone, sir.
Okay.
I can't show you evidence because everything went to Markeisha. All I can do is take her for her word, and that's not enough. I think the bottom line is there was no agreement, sir. She did this because we were in a relationship.
Okay. You keep going. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, and if and Markeisha, what I think she stated, she started all of the text messages she showed where she was requesting payments was after we broke up. If this was an agreement, if this was something that we established early on, she can't show you one text message prior to. And the relevance to that is it was not an agreement. It was retaliation to the breakup. But I understood that. I understood that, which is why she showed evidence of me paying consistently for amount of time. But then at a certain point at February of 2025, I felt like enough was enough, especially after I paid my last payment of the Infinity, where I paid her $4,000 more than she was actually going to get from CarMax. So that's my closing statement.
Okay, well, this is your chance to present evidence, and testimony is evidence, Mr. Palmer, but we hadn't done a closing argument yet. I'm looking for evidence. That's what I'm listening for. And is that everything you wanted to present?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ms. Thomas, you got any questions for Mr. Palmer?
I have just a few. So it's true that you received two credit cards. Am I right, Mr.
Yes,
Palmer?
that is true. It's true
Okay,
that I received it hand delivered by Markeisha. Yes,
okay. So, and one of those credit cards was an American Express, is that right?
that's right.
And it was in your name, correct? Your name was on that American Express, on the plate,
That's correct.
right?
That's correct.
Okay. And so Miss Mitchell had an American Express credit card also with her name and a different number, right? And so you use those credit cards.
I'm
Isn't
sorry.
that correct?
You're asking two questions.
Yeah, I would agree. I agree with you,
Okay, I'm
Mr.
sorry.
Palmer. Let him answer one at a time, Ms. Thomas.
So I
Okay.
don't know. I don't know if she had a credit card with her name and a different number. I don't know. I can't say that to be true, but yes, I can't say that. And your second question?
Okay. Did you receive text messages from Miss Mitchell regarding the two credit cards?
Did I receive text messages regarding the two credit cards? Can you,
How often?
I received text messages probably every month after she left Georgia to go back to Illinois about credit cards. About once
Okay.
a month.
Okay. How often did you use those credit cards?
How often I had them for about a total of 4, maybe 5 months, I want to say. And I would use them, a couple of times a week for purchases for both of us.
Okay. And you made payments on the bill
Correct.
for both credit cards. Is that correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. So why did you stop?
I stopped when I felt like that was a fair amount because I know those purchases were by both of us. And when I completed my last payment of $1,000 for the vehicle that I was speaking to, I felt that 4 grand solidified really what the debt that I accrued on those 2 credit cards.
So how much, in your opinion, do you say you owe her?
I don't to be honest, I don't feel like I owe her because uh when I see the statements on my credit now, it went from one amount to now they're all maxed out. So I believe that she's 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 maxed out the credit card. So to answer your question, I don't feel like I owe her, to be honest. I feel like I did that. I paid my debt with over about $6,000. I think I paid, and that's
Okay.
take and
So
I'm saying 6,000 with the 4,000, additional, and then I paid about 2,000, maybe 2,000, 3,000 in payments.
okay. And the actual plate. Where are the two credit card plates? Where are they?
I'm sorry, the 2 credit card plates, where are they?
Yeah, the credit cards.
I disposed of them once we decided that I was no longer using them.
Okay. And you never thought to pay the rest of it off, right?
I never got a bill because I never received a bill at all. So that would be hard to do.
Okay, so is your testimony that you never received any Chase or any American Express bills? You
That
never
is
received any bills. You didn't know of any bill.
No, when I say received, I mean received from American Express or received from Chase directly. Everything was via Markeisha with screenshots of what I supposedly owe.
Okay. Okay. That's all that we have uh on cross,
All right,
Judge.
thank you. Mr. Palmer, based on those questions, did you have any other testimony you wanted to provide?
No, sir.
Okay, anything else from either side?
Yes,
All right.
attorney, actually, Judge, can I share my screen?
I
Or should
mean,
I?
you've got an attorney.
Okay. So
So
Attorney Thomas, would you please screen share the year-end summary from American Express that shows our individualized purchases on each card and the totals?
Yes. Which exhibit is yes.
It's not in that packet, the initial packet. I think you added it this morning via the clerk. But I have it on
Okay.
my computer screen if I were allowed to share.
It is a part of it was admitted this morning
Miss Willis, you
and
can give,
copy.
hang on, Miss Willis, you can give Miss Mitchell screen sharing abilities and we'll go from there.
Thank you. Completed.
Thank you.
Okay, Your Honor. So this is a 2024 year-end summary directly from American Express.
You're gonna
And
have to increase
make it bigger?
You will.
Yes. Is that good?
That seems like, yes, we can see that.
Okay. So Year-end summary, charges from January 1st through December 31st of 24. He did use the card in 23, but this is just for 24. So I'm gonna scroll down so that you can see his individual purchases. So here, individual spending for Elijah Palmer, that's his card number. And it goes by month, how much he spent. And then this is the total that he spent, $4,087 in 24. Again, he was using the card in 23. And he was using the card in 23 as well, but I couldn't find a year-end statement for 23. But I just wanted to highlight that this is just him.
All right, anything else?
Yes, he also, I'm sorry, Attorney Thomas. Attorney Thomas, if you don't mind sharing, referring back to the packet, I can give you the exhibit numbers of the emails where the statements are attached directly from Chase. These are not statements that I fabricated. They are linked to Chase Bank, where he receives statements on a regular basis via email.
Okay. Let me just pull that up.
Okay.
It's the original packet. Okay. Exhibit number.
Can you start with exhibit number 7, please?
Yes.
Oh, wait, what is it? Yes.
Okay.
That, you go up a little bit more right here. So, Your Honor, this is an email that was sent March 7th of 2024. And I just wanted to show this, contrary to Mr. Palmer's allegation that I didn't start requesting money until after we broke up. We broke up in April. I sent this in March, and it says, hey, like we discussed last night, because we were talking about this money, I'm sharing the Chase card statements with you. Let me know if you need additional statements or documentation. So there's statements attached to this email. And Your Honor, there's more emails in this packet just like this one. I can highlight them if you want, but I just wanted to refute his statement that he never received statements, and because that's not accurate.
All right, anything else?
Anything else, Miss Mitchell?
If we want to, you tell me, Attorney Thomas, if I did highlight some other pages where I email him statements. I don't know if you want to show those or not, or we can just proceed.
They've all been entered
Okay.
in evidence. There were a total of 49 exhibits. You know,
Okay.
each month after month of Ms. Mitchell, texting Mr.
All right,
Palmer, reminding him.
I got it. That's all argument. So is there any other evidence to present?
That's all of the evidence that we have.
All right.
And
so that case, evidence is closed, and if you would like to make a closing argument, I limit it to 2 minutes. Attorney Thomas, you can either go first or last.
we choose to go last, Your Honor.
Okay. So Mr. Thomas, I'm sorry, not Mr. Thomas. I'm so sorry. Mr. Palmer.
Yes.
If you'd like to make a closing argument, you can do that now.
My one and only argument that I wish to make today is there was a lot of evidence presented today, but at the end of the day, there was no binding agreement that this was a loan, there was a contract, that it was anything. I started receiving all of these things after we broke up, and there's still no solid concrete that this is funds that I accumulated. If we were in a relationship and she's doing things for me and I'm doing things for her, I never knew that now I'm held to a contract or an agreement. It was today I was looking for an agreement that was written out like the one that displayed the agreement with the vehicle that I purchased from her, but I did not see that. So I hope, even though I'm here representing myself alone, Your Honor, you don't take the evidence that she presented today, because what I was looking to see was an agreement or a contract, and I did not see that today.
All right, Ms. Thomas.
Your Honor, as everyone in this courtroom knows, an agreement is an understanding and statements and communication where both parties are on the same page. They agree to do this thing and that thing. And there was an agreement in this case. That is what we're arguing. I think it is clear that both parties were on the same page and that they agreed that that he would receive these 2 credit cards and that he would start paying as soon as he was able. And that was the agreement. And both honored that agreement until, Mr. Palmer decided, it was no longer a binding agreement and he didn't want to. We've submitted evidence each month where Miss Mitchell is reminding him to pay his bills when he stopped, because he initially paid, per the agreement, he initially paid on the due dates for both credit cards. And not only that, the credit cards, they were in his name, that he had his own separate number, and they agreed that he would use these cards until he got on his feet and that he would pay each and every month. They commonly texted and emailed. That was not unusual for them. And all of their agreements and understandings were documented in the text messages and in the emails. He had access to both statements. He had the password. He got in there and he even paid on the American Express website. He had the app. He got in there and he paid a couple of times. But some of us are technologically challenged. I know that I am. And so Miss Mitchell agreed to receive the monies that he couldn't pay through the app or when he had difficulties. But he had access to all of those statements for both Chase and American Express. We're arguing that he owes
you're at the end of this, so finish it up.
We're arguing that he owes $13,970.31. Our position is that he owes more than that, but we want some compensation for the amount that he has agreed to pay and will not pay. And that's what we're asking for, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. That closes you all's case. I'm going to share with you first the burden. I don't know if you know it, Mr. Thomas or Miss Mitchell. The burden in a civil case is what is most likely the scenario. Like I'm summarizing it, but it's by preponderance of the evidence. It's not a reasonable doubt. It's not a concrete anything. It's what do I think most likely happened in a civil case. That's the standard in Georgia. So, and that's really it. I think the other thing I want to share with you is there are certain types of contracts that are required by law to be in writing, but agreements don't have to be in writing. They can be verbal, they can be implied, they can be understood. So that's the standard that I'm operating under. I am going to find in favor of the plaintiff. I'm going to look at the amounts. I don't have an amount. I've taken notes from both of you, but I will get an order out later today or tomorrow that has the amount that I believe the plaintiff, the defendant is indebted to the plaintiff. If either of you disagrees with my order, you can petition a higher court to review it. You've got 30 days from the execution of my order. So that means once it's entered into the clerk's system, you've got 30 days from that date to ask a higher court to review it. All right. So thank you both. Well, all three of you. That's going to conclude you all's hearing and you all are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir.
Your Okay.
The leader of Georgia's third largest school district is now the subject of a massive federal indictment.
DeKalb County Superintendent Dr. Devon Horton faces more than a dozen charges, all of them connected to what investigators say happened before he came to Metro Atlanta.
Tonight, Dr. Devon Horton temporarily out as DeKalb County Superintendent, accused of committing fraud, kickbacks, and misusing funds. School board members making the tough call. Before Horton became DCSD superintendent, he led the Evanston-Skokie School District 65, a suburb of Chicago, from 2020 to 2023. The indictment alleges during that time, Horton was part of a scheme to defraud the school district of money and property.
And this case is going to have a lot of irrefutable documents involved, since it's primarily a financial case.
It's disappointing because these are the people that are leading us. They're telling us how we need to teach our children, how they need to be, people of character and integrity.
If you're involved in a dispute with another party such as this and you just can't seem to work it out, don't resort to taking the law into your own hands. You take it to court.
All right, thank you very much. Officer Burrell's waiting for you, and that will bring this case to a conclusion.